Assalamu alaikum, dear student. How are you? I hope you are well and good by the grace of Allah. Alhamdulillah, I am also well. So today, this is my last class before second semester exam. So in this video class, I will discuss with you writing part, and today I will discuss with you graph and chart. So dear student, you know the graph and chart is the so much easiest question in your first paper. So if we follow some rules and regulation of graph chart, and if we write this graph chart correctly, cut a sentence correctly, then we will get good mark or full mark from this graph chart. So today I will discuss with you a number of graph chart, but very beginning of my class I would like to share with you number one, population growth rate in Bangladesh. Dear student, please notice that here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. So in this graph, when we start our writing, we should write from this graph. We have seen that this graph shows population growth rate of Bangladesh 2009 to 2014. So this is the very important, the beginning of the answer. So we should write from this graph. We have seen that this graph refers as that population growth rate of Bangladesh 2009 to 2014. In this graph, we have seen that the population growth rate is decreasing year by year. তার মানে আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি যে 2009 সালে ছিল 2.80 and 2014 সালে ছিল 1.33. So from this region we have told that this graph shows us that the rate of population growth is decreasing year by year. In 2009 we can see that the population growth rate was 2.8. Okay? Next year, 2010, the population growth rate was 2.16. That means this rate is decreasing. Another, in 2011, we can see that the population growth rate was 1.80. Okay, so again we can say that the population growth rate was decreasing. In 2012 we have seen that the population growth rate was 1.50. Again we can see that the population growth rate was again decreasing. And finally we have seen that in 2014 the population growth rate was 1.33. So we have from this graph we can easily say that the population growth rate was decreasing year by year. Now we can see that the highest growth rate was 2009, which was 2.8%, and the lowest growth rate was 2014 in 1.33. So we can see that from this analysis, the graph, it can be said that the number of the population growth rate was decreasing year by year. So finally, it can be said that because of this information, we have easily said that this population growth rate was decreasing day by day, year by year. So this is the good sign for our country as well as our nation. তাহলে আমরা এটা কিন্তু আমরা করে ফেললাম। তাহলে আমরা এটা আলোচনা করলাম যে পপুলেশন গ্রোথ রেটটা। এবার আমরা 2 নম্বরে যাব। 2 নম্বরে আমরা কি বলবো? আমরা বলবো হচ্ছে the number of telephone and mobile phone user. Dear student, you see that 2001, 2003, 2005, 2007, 9, 2012 and 2014. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. 7 years analysis, we have seen that. So we start our writing. The graph represent what the graph shows us that the number of telephone and mobile phone users, from 2001 to 2014. এরপর আমরা বলবো যে হচ্ছে the graph shows the constant rise. The graph shows the constant rise year by year the rate of টেলিফোন অ্যান্ড মোবাইল ফোন ইউজ। তার মানে এখানে বলা হচ্ছে যে এই নাম্বারটা আমাদেরকে কনস্ট্যান্টলিভাবে একের পর এক ধারাবাহিকভাবে কিন্তু এটা বেড়ে চলছে। দেখো ইন 2001 দ্য নাম্বার অফ টেলিফোন ইউজার রেট ওয়াজ 0.35 crore. In the next year, in the next 2 years or the next in 2003 the number of telephone and mobile phone user rate was 60 or 0.6 crore. Okay, and the number of telephone and mobile phone user was only 0.35 and the next year 60. Okay, and then in 2005 the number of telephone and mobile phone user were you should write were 0.90 crore. After that the rate increase was almost same the next 2 years. তার মানে আমরা প্রিভিয়াস ইয়ারে যে রেটটা দেখেছিলাম সেই রেটটা কিন্তু প্রায় সেমলি ভাবে কিন্তু ইনক্রিজ করছে। ইন 2007 the number of telephone and mobile phone user rate were 3.25. That means massive rise or massive increasing last 2 years, that is 3.25. And in 2009 the number of telephone users were 5.40 crore. Again we have seen that in 2009 the mobile phone and telephone user were increasing much highly or much massively. And in 2012 we have seen that the number of telephone and mobile phone user 7.25. In this year we have seen that the rate was increasing more than last year's. Okay, and finally in 2014 the number of telephone and mobile phone user were 9.30. So this is the rate of 5 or 6 years overall. And now you have write that. So from this analysis graph it can be said that the number of telephone and mobile phone user is on rise. It is clear indication the communication system is being developed. তার মানে আমরা কি বলবো, আমরা এখানে আরেকটা কথা লিখতে চাই। এই পর্যন্ত লেখার পরে আমরা বলবো যে the highest telephone and mobile phone user were 9.30 crore in 2014. On the other hand, the lowest number of telephone and mobile phone user were 0.35 crore in 2001. From this analysis, we have easily understood that this graph shows us that these graphs indicate us that the telecommunication system is going to develop year by year. This is the good sign for our country as well as our nation. তাহলে বন্ধুরা আমরা কিন্তু এই টেলিফোন এবং মোবাইল ফোন ইউজারের যে রেটটা এটা তোমাদের সাথে আলোচনা করলাম। আচ্ছা, এরপরে আমরা নেক্সটে আমরা যে দেখতে পাচ্ছি আর একটা খুব সুন্দর একটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট একটা গ্রাফ আমরা একটু আলোচনা করব তোমাদের সাথে। সেটা হচ্ছে যে the number of people in percentage living poverty লাইন, অর্থাৎ কত পার্সেন্ট মানুষ দারিদ্র্য সীমার নিচে বসবাস করে, এটা আমরা একটু দেখব। আমরা এখানে 4টা সাল উল্লেখ করব। This is the graph. আচ্ছা, তাহলে আমরা ওকে, সো আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি এটা হচ্ছে 1995, এটা হচ্ছে 2004, এটা হচ্ছে 2009, এটা হচ্ছে 2015। সো এবার আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি 1995-এ ছিল 60%, এরপরে হয়েছে 40%, এরপরে হয়েছে 30%, এরপরে হয়েছে 25%। তাহলে আমরা কিভাবে এটা করব? ফ্রম দিস গ্রাফ উই হ্যাভ সিন দ্যাট the percentage of living poverty line to 1995 to 2015. From this graph we have seen that in 2000 in the bar chart the percentage of the number people living below the poverty line. Okay, so in 1995 the percentage of living poverty line below was 60%, and in 2004 the percentage was decreasing, which was 40%. In 2009 the percentage was again decreasing, and that is 30%. And finally in 2015 the percentage of living below poverty line was 25%. That means year by year, or after 5 years and 5 years, the percentage was going decreasing in our country, which is good sign for us. So this is the way to write this graph and chart. Dear student, we have discussed with you about another graph chart. So today we have discussed with you about 3, and number 4, the population growth rate I have already discussed with you, and number 4, yes, this is the percentage of transport, the percentage of transport used by student, অর্থাৎ ছাত্ররা কোন ট্রান্সপোর্টগুলো ব্যবহার করে তাদের যাতায়াত করার জন্য। আমরা এটাকে পাই চার্ট বলা হয়। আমরা একটা আঁকবো পাই চার্ট। ওকে, সো we have seen that 4 category of transport, which is car and bus, walking, another walking, and rickshaw. Okay, car 10%, bus 25%, okay, then walking 25%, walking, okay, this is 30%, bus 25% and 10%, and rest of the students use their transport to go to school or others, which is used rickshaw. So 10, 40, 60, 65, which is 35%. So in this pie chart, this is the not graph chart, this is the pie chart. So dear student, you should write or start your writing, that is this is the pie chart gives us an information, that is the percentage of transport used by student to go to school. So we have seen that only 10% student used car to go to school as use their transport, which is 10%. And another this is the bus, transport of bus. So the percentage of transport used only 30% to go to school by using bus, and walking 25% to go to school as a use their transport 25%, and rest of the transport they use rickshaw 35%. That means 35% student use their transport to go to school 35 as a rickshaw. So we have seen that the lowest percentage is car and the highest percentage is rickshaw. So this graph refers, or this graph indicates that the most of the students to come or to go to school or to go to institution, which is rickshaw, that is 35%, and very little or very few students, a few of the students they use their car to go to their school, which is 10%. So this graph indicates that we are living below the poverty line, and we are the poor country as we use rickshaw to go to school. So dear student, we have discussed with you about 4 graph and chart, which is so much important for class 9 and as well as for class 10. So I hope you will be benefited from this today's class, and we will discuss with you about another topic after the second semester exam. Till then, you have to be good and keep good, and you should follow the health rules and regulation. Okay, stay at home, and thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.